Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 28th, 2026 meeting of the Abington Township Board of Commissioners. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioners Rosenbaum,
Here.
Rothman,
Here.
DePlacido,
Here.
Laney Martin,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Weingrad,
Here.
Henry,
Here.
Sapone,
Here.
Young Gertz,
Here.
Spiegelman,
Here.
Burchell,
Here.
Schreiber,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Vice President Vehy,
Here.
President Hecker.
Here. Thank you. May we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. One brief announcement this evening. The Board of Commissioners met in executive session earlier this evening for the purposes of talking about litigation and real estate matters. And secondly, we have a presentation to make tonight, and so I'm going to ask my colleague, Representative Ben Sanchez, and we have Judge Emmett Madden who are here tonight. I ask you to come forward. Come up through here. We made it harder since you were here last, Ben. Thank you. So tonight we have the occasion to honor a longstanding member of our community who tragically passed away in March. And I was reached out to by Representative Sanchez and Judge Madden recently about the circumstances, and we're delighted here tonight to just take a moment to pause and reflect, to acknowledge a life well lived, a connection to community. And so I'm going to turn it over to State Representative Sanchez.
Thank you so much, President Hecker. And I know the Kennis family is here this evening, many members, families, and friends. And I'd like to present from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives a condolence resolution in honor of Mr. Joseph Ernest Kennis. He passed away at the age of 69 on March 13th, 2026. And we'd like to honor the memory of Mr. Kennis. He was born in Abington on November 9th, 1956, to the late Ernest and Bertha Lotzko Kennis. Lauded for his kindness, patience, and generosity, he enjoyed the outdoors and was an avid bicyclist and skier. In addition, he cherished spending time with his family at their cabin on the lake. And whereas a beloved family member, Mr. Kennis strove to bring joy and happiness to all of whom he cared for. He was an outstanding citizen who represented the finest virtues of American life and earned the praise of his many family members, friends, neighbors, and acquaintances who benefited from his integrity and inspiring presence. And I know many of you are here tonight. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania proclaims with enduring sorrow the passing of Joseph Ernest Kennis and extends heartfelt condolences to his wife, Elizabeth Kennis, children Michael, Andrew, and Stephen, 5 grandchildren, and many other family members and friends. And we have this commemorative citation in honor of a life well lived, and we thank you on behalf of a grateful Commonwealth for all of his dedication to everything, and may his memory continue to be a blessing. And I think Judge Madden is going to say a few words about his friend.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Thank you, Representative Sanchez. So obviously Joe's wife, Beth Kennis, is here. Joe was a member of Guys Cycling and loved cycling, and a lot of our teammates are here. I was one of Joe's teammates. And have known Joe for quite a long time. He was really a mentor to me on the bicycle. But one thing, when him and I would ride, we would often talk, and he would talk about Abington and how much he loved Abington in this community. From being born and raised here in high school to then having his own house and raising his 3 boys here in Abington, helping his wife Beth with the YMCA and the turkey trot every year, working in his yard and working in his neighborhood, and he just loved Abington and he loved this community. He gave so much to all of us on his team as a mentor in cycling. He would come over my house and fix bike things that I would just immediately break again, and he would lend me bikes, and he was just such a good person. And I thank both of you for honoring him today, and thank everyone for being here.
Thank you, Judge. We also have a citation here at the township level, and I'll just take a moment to read it, and then I'll be happy to share it with you. And this says, whereas Joseph Ernest Kennis was a lifelong resident of Abington Township and a proud member of this community, and whereas Mr. Kennis was a devoted husband, a loving father of 3, and a cherished grandfather of 5, whose compassion, kindness, and warmth touched all who knew him, and whereas Mr. Kennis was an avid cyclist and skier who regularly cycled the roads of Montgomery County, and whereas Mr. Kennis sadly passed away on March 13th, 2026, leaving behind a family and a community in profound grief, and whereas the township wishes to formally recognize the life of Mr. Kennis and to extend its deepest condolences to his family during this time of great sorrow. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed this 28th day of May 2026 that the Township of Abington hereby issues this citation of honor in memory of Joseph Ernest Kennis, celebrates the life he led, and extends its heartfelt sympathies to the Kennis family. A copy of this citation shall be presented to the family as a lasting expression of the Township's respect and condolences, and our hearts are with you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll now open it up for public comment on the agenda items that the board will be considering this evening. If you wish to speak, please come forward. State your name.
Adele Cubell, Abington. Regarding the minutes, the propaganda continues. I clearly stated that both the promised Parkview Avenue meeting and the Gallman Fox Pavilion meeting never took place. Commissioners made the decision to favor both developers at closed-door meetings away from public view. These decisions meant the loss of quality of life for citizens, the increase of severe congestion, and the destruction of more trees and animal habitat. Failing to follow through with promised public meetings is a commissioner hallmark. Refusing to provide an explanation for canceled meetings, dictatorial decisions that favor developers are the norm. Destroying public trust while claiming to be trustworthy and caring and all that's good is a constant issue. During the 1583 Rothley meeting, 5 to 8 citizens waiting on Zoom to speak were systematically removed from the meeting by the host. These citizens were denied their speaking rights. The township host was not held accountable. Rothley developers were then granted permission to overbuild on a troubled property by commissioners. Now, meetings are just canceled and citizens are left out entirely. Why is the township willingly purchasing dilapidated building property from Jefferson Hospital? Jefferson Hospital has failed to care for these properties for years. I've shown photos and not gotten any help with severe dilapidation there. No code enforcement for the VIP hospital has invited blight to fester. Abington tax money should not be utilized to demolish hospital blight. Congestion easing property is available for purchase on Old York Road. 50 citizens signed a petition for the purchase of the List property. That area has severe congestion and no room for an apartment building. Green space is completely absent. Why are petitions and citizen wishes continually ignored? For numerous years, street department employees have been utilized to give billionaire developers and corporations free sidewalks. This situation continues. Sidewalks for billionaires cost millions in employee time and ready-mix cement. This means 8 missing streetlights that are very important on Old Jerk Road get no replacement. Rusted street signage, courtesy of Mr. Manfredi, is not replaced. Potholes can't be repaired. Crumble islands on Old Jerk Road get no repair. Trash and weeds replace flowers. With no proper attention, parks and streets are being destroyed. Commissioners prioritize economic development for rich people, while an increasingly poor Abington suffers. People labeled consultants follow the exact agenda of commissioners.
Ms. Kubel, please
Transparency
conclude your
should
comments.
include
Your time has
information.
expired. Your time has expired. Please take your seat.
You
Thank
don't
you for
want
your
to hear me,
comments.
do you?
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? If so, please come forward.
I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend, and I was quite surprised. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe Rooney. I live in Ardsley. I was really surprised. I looked at the agenda. I didn't look at it till today, and saw the 5 properties for $3 million. And I don't know if you all have been discussing this or not, but I haven't heard it in any meetings, and I haven't heard anybody talking about it. So I thought it was pretty curious. I know this thing's going. I thought it was pretty curious that right after Memorial Day, as we start the summer, this comes up to be introduced and voted on and then spent right now. So in my opinion, this truly is taxation without representation. Because if you guys knew about it, you didn't spread the word that I know of. Nobody's talked to me about it. And if you didn't spread the word and knew about it, then you're just operating on your own whim. This doesn't occur in a vacuum, so there's another plan. I'm assuming this is property that's being bought for a new township building. That's just an assumption on my part from what I've known before. You all may know, you may not know. But there's 5 commercial properties on the busiest street that we have in the township. We just had the Economic Development Corporation 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, come in and gave us their brief. They spent $100,000 last year on lawyers and on planning, okay, roughly. But there was no discussion about buying these properties right here. A lot of you all have talked about buying the properties at Susquehanna Road and Old York Road, but nothing about this. So it just pops up. So there's a bigger plan here. We don't know about it, all right? Nobody that I hang out with has any idea about this, and even people who keep in touch. So you all are either keeping a secret or you don't know about it either. So look, if you're a wealthy developer, a wealthy lawyer, if you're a hospital executive making $500 grand a year, you're not worried about the tax burden. But I'll just let you all know, we just got a $600 million bill from the middle school, okay? $285 over 30 years will be over $600 million bucks. You guys are talking about another $15 million. That's my estimate again for a new library, all right? Now you're talking about a new township building. I got an idea, and I talked to one of you all before about why we didn't buy St. Basil's. Buy the middle school. There's more office space there. There's a gym. There's a library. There's office space. There's a theater. It's worth $100 million right now. Buy that. You can do whatever you need in the township right there and still have 2 floors left. Instead, you're taking economic development, a footprint right off a busy intersection on the busiest street, and turning it into non-taxing property. So there's a lot more I could talk about. I see my time. Oh, I got 10 seconds left. So please vote no. We need to know more about this plan. We need to know what is in it beyond this, okay, and why we're doing it right now before we go any further. You got a new member right there. Do you know about this? Can you explain this to everybody? Have you talked to your representatives? Any of the other you guys? Mr. Brown, have you done it in North Hills? So I don't think the answer is yes.
Well, Mr. Rennie, thank you. Take your seat. Is there anyone else in the room that wishes to speak? And if not, we'll turn to Zoom.
Laura Lehman.
Laura Lehman, Meadowbrook. How dare you, how dare you, how dare you? First, you removed our committee meetings, so we didn't see anything about this project before you brought it to the voting meeting. Then you took away our speaking rights to know anything about a project. You're not even discussing it before you allow us to comment. So first, I'm going to ask you to allow us to comment once we hear the discussion, which I hope includes what you plan to do with a $3 million purchase, because $3 million is only the down payment. You have to then demolish the properties. You have tons of legal fees involved. Then you have to build something with them. And the public hasn't seen any of it. So I don't believe you have any right to spend this money. It's not in the budget. The public has not approved any project that would allow the purchase of $3 million worth of properties. None of it is at all appropriate. And I want you to vote no tonight. I want you to tell the people in the township what you're doing. And I want you to ask them for their comments and their input as to whether it's appropriate for our township. You are not kings. The No Kings marches were intended for these kinds of actions. Please restore our committee meetings, restore our right to speak at each agenda item, not at the beginning when we know nothing about what you're going to discuss and our comments are then done. And never, never, never bring something for a final vote that hasn't been to a committee meeting. Where did you change those rules? Commissioner Hecker, you promised in public that you were going to actually give me the information about that policy and how you changed it without changing the policy publicly, but you didn't do it. You broke your word again and again and again. It is untoward for you people, all of you, all 15 of you, to be acting in this manner against the interests of the people that you serve, who have a right to see what you intend to build, why you're purchasing these properties, what they're going to cost you to demolish and to rebuild. They have a right. And do the people on the street even know that you're doing this? The people down Horace Avenue and the people in the area? This is unbelievable that you are doing this.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Lehman. Is there anyone else? If not, we will turn to the consent agenda, and I will turn to Board Vice President Matt Vahey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for passage of the consent agenda listed of items A and B. And I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda carries. We have no unfinished business, so we will turn to new business, and I will once again turn it to Board Vice President Matt Vahey.
Sorry, I'm suffering from an attack of pollen.
Take your time.
First item, new business, BOC-03-052826. Motion to award a 2026 ready-mix concrete in the amount of $87,200. Engineered retaining wall block in the amount of $28,300 to JDM Materials, Inc., and I so move.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Sorry, colleagues. You just see the pollen raining down.
it's
It was
everywhere.
It was terrible.
I can read them. Do you want me to?
Next item is BOC-04-052826. Motion to approve purchase agreement between Abington Township and Abington Memorial Hospital Property Department for the township to purchase properties located at 1177 Oldrick Road, 1169 Oldrick Road, 1159 Oldrick Road, 1165 Oldrick Road, and 1874 Horace Avenue, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Gallagher, is there anything you want to add before we open it up for the commissioners?
Sure. These are, the next three agenda items are all related to the purchase of these 5 tax parcels. It's the purchase agreement, a resolution authorizing the condemnation of the property, as well as a proposal from Title Land Transfer to provide the title insurance and title policy, and also prepare the deeds for the transfer. This is all being done in a friendly condemnation matter with the hospital signing, Abington Hospital signing the purchase agreement. So this is being done, as I said, in a friendly matter. Pretty straightforward in the documents themselves, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any comments or questions for members of the board? Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to take 1 minute. I, for one, am very glad that we have this chance to possibly acquire these properties. It's a chance to create a municipal campus in the heart of our township. And I would like to say that that corridor is our front door to the township. Travelers going to and fro in Abington, that's the first they see of our community. And I think that we have a great opportunity to control the architectural character of that corridor and to create a campus that would spur economic development around it, and to create a campus for much needed space, especially for our police department, and to create a welcoming, useful, efficient space for our residents to do their business with the township, I think for a host of reasons. If we have a chance to get these properties, I'm very much in favor. I urge a vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Commissioner Spiegelman.
Thank you, President Hecker. I concur with Commissioner Young-Gertz's assessment. It's known, I mean, as we heard earlier tonight, that a lot of the main infrastructure of the township facilities, this building and the adjoining police station, are long past life. The core of this building is 100 years old. So it is, I think, long understood that we do need, at some point, new facilities. That doesn't mean that there's any kind of plan. When there's a plan for the use of this or any other property, that will be entirely public-facing. That will be presented in various phases, not just here, but in Planning Commission, EAC, et cetera. But the fact remains that these properties across the street from here are available now. The seller, who is Jefferson Abington, they want to move these properties. They want to liquidate them. They're not going to wait forever until we have a hypothetical plan for specifically what to do with them. And I think everyone knows that if we decide to just let these properties go, someone will buy them. And then we'll be having conversations that we had many times, and they're worthy conversations depending on the property and the location and the plan. But we'll be having conversations with the developer talking about apartment buildings, mixed use, something maybe akin to the station in Willow Grove, which in Upper Moreland Township, which has come up in many conversations and I think caused a lot of concern among township residents of the notion of developments like that happening here. I'm not weighing in on that one way or another, but everyone knows it's come up in conversation. This precludes that. This will be the township's property, the people's property, to be developed when the right time and plan is developed. But the properties are there for sale now and will be secured now. That's what responsible governing bodies do and responsible municipalities do. Thank you very much.
Are there other comments or questions for Commissioner Weingart?
I also agree with Commissioner Spiegelman. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to expand a campus and give the residents an opportunity to try to control what's happening in the middle of our township. But one question I have is, so how are we paying for this?
So right now, initially, Commissioner, to pay for the acquisition, the township would use funds that it has acquired through the ARPA program. As you know, there was a $10 million exclusion through the ARPA dollars. Those dollars were reassigned to park programming. The board had done that a year or two ago. We could use those dollars today to purchase the property and then reimburse ourselves at some point in the future should the board determine to go out for a general obligation bond to fill that hole.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions from members of the board? Mr. Rainey, we're not taking public comment at this time. You will have the opportunity to speak again at the end of the meeting. Other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item is BOC-05-052826, motion to approve Resolution 26-021, authorizing the acquisition of property located at 1177 Old York Road, 1169 Old York Road, 1159 Old York Road, 1165 Old York Road, and 1874 Horace Avenue, Abington Township, through the exercise of eminent domain, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Commissioner Weingarten.
I guess to the solicitor, can you explain what eminent domain means and how it applies in this case?
Sure. Eminent domain allows a governmental agency such as the township to, the word that is used is called condemn. It doesn't mean that the property is necessarily unfit or otherwise dangerous. It's just a term of art. We're using the process of eminent domain, which allows the township to take the property. As I said earlier, this is being done in consultation with the property owner, so this is we're using the term friendly condemnation.
Okay, so it's not that the township's taking the property. This is a coordinated agreement with the seller.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item is BOC-06052826, motion to approve a proposal from Title Land Transfer LLC related to the acquisition of the properties located at 1177 Old York Road, 1169 Old York Road, 1159 Old York Road, 1165 Old York Road, and 1874 Horace Avenue. And so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Last item on the agenda tonight is BOC-07-052826, discussion and presentation of a fire code ordinance amendment by Mr. Platts.
Mr. Platts, come on down.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time to come before you and speak tonight. So before you tonight is a discussion and presentation about a fire code update. So first, I want to thank the manager for supporting me in this effort, as well as my team who took the time to build us up to here and get to this point, specifically the Director McInerney, my Assistant Fire Marshal, and thank you to the Solicitors team as well for their support in this long process. This is something I've been working on for many years now, has been kind of on my personal agenda, and I'm glad to present to you tonight kind of where I see this going. So just a little bit of background. It's been over 30 years since our last complete adoption of a fire code, which deals with hazard mitigation and measures which have changed dramatically over that time. As I'm sure you can imagine, the world's a bit different than 30 years ago, especially in the fire service. Updating this will help not only prevent incidents from happening, but help our teams to react when those do occur. For a little bit of background here, the fire code originally was adopted back in 1971 in Abington Township, a couple years ago, adopting the Boca Basic Fire Prevention Code in 1970 edition. It's been 32 years since our last amendment to our code, and 36 years since our last true full adoption of the 1990 Boca Code. So it's been a couple moons. Currently, the way we adopt and way we enforce the codes in Abington Township is through the PAUCC, the Uniform Construction Code, which is under the 2021 edition of the International Codes. We also, the township adopted the 2024 Property Maintenance Code a couple years ago. I believe that was back in 2023. And then our team currently utilizes the 1990 edition, so it's a 30-year-old code that we're using. It's outdated, it limits the coverage of modern hazards, as I mentioned, and it's not readily available to the public. Unfortunately, this is one of the few that I've been able to find. It stays in my office because it's such a hot commodity. But what I'm proposing to go to is the 2021 International Fire Code. It has improved life safety. It aligns with state and national standards and best practices to address emerging risks as they occur, and it's a simplified understanding for the general public. The BOCA code uses a lot of outdated terms and terminology and processes. This new code will allow some regional consistency. Many of our municipalities surrounding us also have adopted this, and it's readily available online for free. So it's something that the residents can easily access. If they have any questions, they want to go look at what is the fire marshal saying here, what is the best practice to do, you can easily go online and look at that. So just to highlight a couple things, it has expanded permit requirements for those hazardous processes, improved fire protection system maintenance, so all those things that protect us in our daily life, from fire alarms to sprinkler systems to extinguishers, as well as enhanced fire service features protecting our fire crews that are out and about, as well as comprehensive emergency planning for our team. So when we go out and do our inspections, we like to educate the community, and this allows us to advocate for more processes to be better prepared. So we all know when we were in school, we did fire drills. This code allows us to recommend and have businesses also do their fire drills to practice. It's a very hazardous time when you have to evacuate a building, so the more practice that we have, that's one of the things, as well as getting better plans for our team ready in case an emergency does happen. It deals with location-specific hazards like our energy storage systems. Everyone hears about lithium-ion batteries and how we handle those. It's a unique hazard that I don't think BOCA even thought about back in the day. And so things like our solar infrastructure and electrical infrastructure that we have is something that our crews are constantly training on, but the better I can do to protect them in advance, the better they'll be served when they're out in the field, as well as things like high-piled storage and commercial hazards, as well as a dramatic increase in hazardous materials regulations in there. And it reflects today's environment versus 1990 or 1993. For me, it gives me some more clear authority to understand how to enforce these codes, to better explain what our role is to the township residents. It explains our expanded inspection and compliance process and system impairments, as well as more consistent enforcement. So that way, when we are working with people to explain the rules and regulations, and I'm speaking with someone from California for some of our commercial partners, they understand the same language. I'm not making them go find a book from 30 years ago to explain this is how we do it here. So what does this all mean? So the goal is to adopt the International Fire Code with some amendments locally. It focuses on public safety and consistency, as well as clarity between them. So part of it, and what you'll see in the agenda packet, what you've already seen, is 40 proposed amendments, which sounds like a lot. 6 of them are pretty much fill in the blank of insert Township of Abington here, insert your fine amount here, standard things that everyone that adopts the code has to do. There's one that is an amendment regarding UCC enforcement. So what does that mean? So the state has the Uniform Construction Code, which establishes how buildings are built and constructed. For the township to make regulations in that, it is a whole different process, a whole different ballgame that probably wouldn't even go through. So what this does is say that we are adopting this fire code as it pertains to operational requirements, not construction. It's 2 different kind of wheelhouses. We leave construction to the state's code that we follow with any local amendments, and then we adopt our operational procedures from this IFC. There are 32 amendments that our team came up with to either modify, add, or remove from the code that we feel best matches industry best practice, as well as kind of how we do things here, as well as one amendment for the adoption of the appendices. So all the appendices in the book, there are, I believe, about 20. So we're adopting quite a few of them. We have to specifically call out that we're adopting them to enforce them. Otherwise, they're just educational. So I'll cruise through this and highlight just some of them. I won't bore you with all my technical jargon. But here's the ones that talk about the fill in the blanks, where again, it's talking about the Township of Abington, talking about the fee schedule that you all already adopted about 2 years ago. Talks about the penalty fees, and it talks about regulations for certain hazard materials, where they can go. Again, if that's regulated by the state codes, I can't really override that, but it gives some balance to that. This is the UCC amendment, where again, it just talks about what we can and cannot do, and clearly aligns with the state to make sure I'm not overstepping my bounds. I don't want to get in that predicament. Some of our basic amendments include things like the payment of fees, our life safety inspection program that our team does every day, parking structure regulations, there's a lot of hazards with that now, our key boxes that we use to gain access to properties and not do as much damage as we have to, private hydrants, devices, things like that. 2 things to talk about in here, though, that I thought was important to call out. So one, a couple years ago, we amended the burning ordinance to allow a little bit more freedom for people to kind of have their fire pits and have some fun with that. In talking with the solicitor's office, I recommended that we remove that existing ordinance and utilize the IFC's language with a couple Abington tweaks. to make things more consistent, to make this a one-stop shop for people looking for fire code information. So Section 307 in the fire code already exists in the International Fire Code that deals with open burning. So we made a couple regulation changes in there, and you'll see in it a lot of the language actually mirrors the existing burning ordinance. But it gives some modern approaches to it. Quick and fast differences that you'll see. The current code, there are no bonfires, and all fires must be 20 feet from property line structures and combustibles. The proposed one would allow bonfires, but they have to be 50 feet from all those things, as well as require a permit from our office. So it allows properties that are larger that want to have an event, say a school district or a church that wants to have a ceremonial bonfire, we can do that. There's some parameters they have to meet and some safety precautions. Recreational fire pits, you want to make a stone fire pit in your backyard, you got to be about 5 feet farther. We've seen some issues with that. Then this is the national standard for how far those should be. But your portable ones, the one you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, you can actually move those a little bit closer. They're generally a little bit safer, so it changes that to 15 feet. And one thing it does is clearly establishes the legality of the burn ban. So about 2 years ago, I think it was, when we had that extreme drought, there was some confusion about kind of who can do what. So it clearly put in the fact that we can, when the time necessitates it, institute a burn ban to prevent any hazards from occurring. The other item that you'll see in there that is unique is a fire system documentation. So what this is, in the code, when you have a commercial business, they have to provide us their documentation for your annual inspection for your sprinkler system, your fire alarm system, things like that. It is a struggle because the way the code works is you either have to have it on site or send it to us. People don't do either of those things. So in the past 12 months, my team has written over 1,200 violations for not having that documentation. It's a big time consuming for our team. So what we can do with this code, and what a lot of municipalities around us do, is actually require the submittal of documentation through a portal. So I worked really hard to find the best one for us. A lot of the big players in the game charge for that service. So when a business owner would have to submit that, or their contractor submits that record, they often charge them about $20 per report. I didn't want to do that to the residents. I didn't want to do that to the businesses. I thought that was too much. So I actually worked hard and found a company that does it for free. So there is now, with this, no cost to the residents. They do have paid levels, but we're going to use the free one. So there's no cost in the township incurred on that to them or onto us. But what it does is actually improves the current process, increases my inspectors' productivity, and as well, it actually resolves one of our accreditation remarks and recommendations. So it's something that we got dinged on as a recommended improvement, was to implement a program like this, so that will accomplish this. To wrap up, what this really does is it has minimal impacts to normal activities and improves safety for residents. It really clears up some expectations for our business owners and does have some increased compliance requirements, but nothing too burdensome. That's the goal. And then for the fire department, it gives us better enforcement tools and keeps our team safer. So that is my quick and fast, or as quick as I could do it, presentation for you. I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Go ahead.
Chris, you went through that pretty fast, but I thought I saw a call out for suburban industrial.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
So that is those regulations. Ooh, I went too far. So that is where it regulates the storage of cryogenics and liquefied petroleum products. Same thing with zoning is we have to give them somewhere to go.
Got it.
So it's regulated to those two zones within the township, which kind of coincides with their already uses in the zoning code.
Thank you.
Yep.
Chris, the surrounding municipalities, where are they at with their codes?
So I don't have exact which ones have which ones. Most places are in the 2021 nowadays.
That's what I was...
There's a few that are probably in 2018 still, but we are the only one in the area, to my knowledge.
Nobody's
still
from 1971?
No.
Right, okay.
Nope.
May I?
Yes, please.
Thanks so much. Two things. First of all, bonfires. Can we go over that again?
Sure.
So 50, explain again. You can't have a bonfire unless you have 50 feet of a parameter around the bonfire?
Yeah, so the regulation, the way it works is our code requires, if you want to have what's considered a recreational fire, it's regulated to 3 feet of width and 2 feet of height, your kind of standard home-built cinder block fire pit in your backyard.
Yeah.
A bonfire would be considered anything expanding outside of that size. So let's say I want to have one that's 5 feet wide and 7 feet tall for the end of the year party at Manor College, for example. They want to have a bonfire. I used to deal with them at Drexel when I worked there part-time. It's something that happened for homecoming. So to do that, you would have to have a 50-foot radius around the entire fire pit itself clear from any combustibles, structures, property lines. So your average homeowner in their backyard cannot have this.
Is that enough? Is 50 feet enough for the average homeowner?
It's the standard from the
It's the
International Fire
standard.
Code. That's cut and paste from the code itself.
And I would imagine even if you have the 50 feet and all, you'd need a permit to have a bonfire?
Correct.
Not everybody can just light a match and have a bonfire?
Correct. You would still need a permit from our office, which would be an inspection from our team to make sure that you're setting up. Oftentimes, you'll actually be required to have someone standing by from our team. Our team does fire standbys for example events at the Keswick Theater
And
that
all
use
that
fire.
is codified or, okay. The other thing is with our, and I think you mentioned this, but just to clarify, our accreditation, we're internationally accredited. And I would imagine that part of the reason is that we keep current on our codes. So would this, I would imagine, is probably a necessary step toward keeping our accreditation, or do you know what I'm saying? We need to keep current on this stuff.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
it's
right?
definitely something that's one of the many core criteria they evaluate during our accreditation process, is do we have an adopted code? Is it in play? And while we have been able to meet that guideline with the state code that's enforced as well as the property maintenance code, this kind of solidifies us in a well-rounded approach to make sure that we're meeting the expectation. And it was a recommendation from them for that specific fire protection system. Their question was, how do I know at any moment in time who is in compliance and who is not? And my response kind of is, well, when I was there 6 months ago, they were in compliance. I don't know if their system is currently up to date. Whereas this system will now allow my team to, at any morning, walk inside the office and say, okay, these systems are all out of date. Let me follow up with them today.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
of course.
Commissioner Spiegelman.
Thank you, President Hecker. Chris, this is extraordinary work. Thank you so much for, I know I can only fathom the effort you had to put into this. You talked about how for things like construction, aspects of construction code, that obviously we follow the state regulations, and you said obviously we're not going to make any attempt to preempt those because we can't. Has everything from IFC, I'm assuming you've kind of gone through and rectified, if necessary, any conflicts that could arise from discrepancies between what's in the IFC and the state construction code. It's not necessarily about construction per se, but other things that are sort of implied by, that would be an implied conflict, if you know what I mean.
I believe so. So, yeah, I worked quite a bit. I worked the solicitor's office to make sure that we didn't overstep our bounds at all, to make sure that we are treading carefully on what we can and cannot implement. If you go through the process where you do want to start touching construction things, there's a whole L&I process with public hearings and appeal processing. And most likely, most municipalities, unless you have some very strange reason as to why you're special, it will not get approved. The goal of the UCC was to kind of keep everyone the same. And so what this does, it actually makes it simpler for people to utilize the same code across the board and speak the same language. So that's why I'm actually adopting, there is the 2024 out there, the 2024 International Fire Code. I chose to go with the 2021 to keep it in line with the currently adopted UCC. So they speak the same language. They're not kind of conflicting at all. Because if I adopt the 2024, recommend adopt the 2024, they could use some different things and have different regulations. So that was the distinctly reason why we went for the 2021.
Duly noted. Thank you. We're special, but we're not that kind of special. Thank you very much again,
Of course.
Chris.
Commissioner Schreiber.
Somebody's on this. How specific is this for residents as far as connection to our website? So if I have, as a resident, I know it's been a problem, the big batteries, getting rid of them, and that I know we had a fire from the battery from Fireboard. We talked about that. So could somebody like look up, how do I get rid of a battery, and that kind of information would be available to them?
So that is more so on our team to educate the public on where to go and how to dispose of them. The code really talks about kind of storage, utilization, how am I operating with them. There are some disposal practices in there, not maybe specifically for batteries, but that's something that more would fall under our team to educate where, and that's something we are looking at, kind of how can I provide more opportunities for recycling those properly to prevent any hazards from occurring.
So maybe not in this particular thing, but we could have a Q&A on your page on the website or something.
Correct. Yeah, it was actually the theme of last year's Fire Prevention Week was proper battery purchasing, use, and storage and disposal. So it's definitely something I'm still working on doing more of and educating more on as the year goes on.
Commissioner Bowman.
Just thank you for your clear and effective presentation.
Thank you.
Commissioner Laney Martin.
Hi, I just have a question in reference to the business. When you were saying that you're going to be using a website to upload the fire inspections for the system, is that the response, are you going to be required that it's from the vendor that actually provided the inspection, or is it just the company that's being inspected, the submitted, because usually you have the copy on site? And then my next question is, are you going to have a system where they can pay, where we can pay the fee also instead of just mailing it in or thing like that? Is it going to be tied together? My experience in other municipalities, it's tied together, like the actual inspector puts it in, and the fee goes all together to that, the city, basically, the city does it that way. So I was curious about what we were doing.
Yeah, so for the first one, the contractor themselves will be responsible for uploading those applications. So the company that we're going to go with, they actually notify all the companies within, I believe he said, a 45-mile radius. He's actually just did the list for Upper Moreland. Upper Moreland has adopted the same program, the same company. They're just a little bit ahead of me. And so it'll be responsibility of the contractor to upload in there. Most of them, it's kind of standard par for the course nowadays. We are not the first that would be proposing this. And it's just a matter of they get notified that, hey, anyone in Abington Town should do the work, just submit the record, here's the link, they would make an account. It's pretty easy. His website is very basic and easy, and it makes it really simple. As for the fee payment, that is something we have looked at. There's questions about kind of how do we go about making those. I know the question was raised during kind of our transition to digital permitting in the code department as to online payments. So now that is our next step, is to look at how we do online payments for all of our fire inspection fees.
I just had a follow-up because I'm not sure if I understand. So you're saying that the company that's in Abington Township that requires the inspection, they are the ones who submit it, or is the company that they hire to do the inspection, are they the ones who are responsible for submitting?
So the vendor will be expected to do it. Yeah, so Joe's Fire Extinguishers or Mike's Fire Alarm Company, they'll be the ones expected to do it. At the end of the day, the property owner is responsible to make sure that we get those, but we'll be reaching out to them and educating all these vendors on what the process is, and it makes their life a lot easier too.
Commissioner Rosenbaum, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for this presentation. I just had a question about whether there was any sort of cost estimates or maybe revenue estimates in terms of if there are any additional resources or perhaps additional revenues expected with regard to this. And then the other thing, two other questions. One is you emphasized how long it's been and that other municipalities and governments in the area have updated more recently. And is there any sort of basic explanation as to why we haven't done so in so long? And then finally, you explained very clearly why you're recommending the 2021 code or the 2021 uniform code, and that was 5 years ago. There's been something you mentioned about 2024. Do you have any expectation that we'll be updating this, and how many years do you think will we want to update this code? Thank you.
Of course. So I'll try to make sure I get all of them. Costs, none. There is no fee associated with this. It's neutral. We will not be gaining any money from this. We will not be losing any money from this. There's no additional cost to residents either. As for why it has not been updated in all those years, I can't speak for my predecessors. This is something I've been working with and working on since my days as the assistant fire marshal, kind of perusing around, figuring out kind of what this looks like. I took my time on it. Obviously, I got in this role back in 2023. I took my time because of the kind of legal precariousness when it comes down to adopting something that could be construed as going against the UCC. So I wanted to make sure that we did our due diligence, and I work with Lauren and her team to make sure that we're really in a good legal footing here and not overstepping our bounds. As for why it took so long to get here, I don't know. As for going forward, the way that the ordinance is actually worded is it will fall in line with the UCC adoption. So when the state in a couple years goes for the 2024 code, it will automatically do that. We may have to look and make sure our numbers align, but it will automatically adopt that. It's the same thing that we did with the property maintenance code as well.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, any final comments or questions? Mr. Platts, thank you for a detailed overview, and I guess this will come back in the month of June. Okay, terrific.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Okay. With that, we'll open it up for public comment. General public comment, please come forward.
Code enforcement, no, it's already started, and nobody heard what I said. The speaker wasn't
Please
on.
restart the clock.
Code enforcement can't get one rotting car removed from a driveway on Edmonds Road. Meanwhile, junk vehicles, RVs, destroyed boats, cargo units are the accessories of thousands of blighted homes. So are those batteries that you talk about. These homes are being destroyed by citizens that blight homes for Jefferson Hospital-connected billionaires. Blighting homes is a job people do. Vote Yes wasn't inhabited by parents that blight homes for a living and those that want charter schools. Why, Mr. Hecker, Mr. Vahey, and other commissioners have you invited the wholesale destruction of thousands of middle-class homes in Abington? This vile action is destroying home ownership and building a housing crisis. Mr. Malloy has a community policing and traffic department that could easily ticket and tow every vehicle. Instead, even the worst situations are referred to code enforcement again and again. Code enforcement gets nothing rectified. The parking lot behind Forever Young across from the Easton Road Dog Park is jam-packed with enormous trolley, an RV sitting in weeds, broken construction wagons, and a sofa. The situation has been reported numerous times to code enforcement. I've reported it. Nothing gets done. Everything's back to code enforcement. Pershing near St. John has 2 large broken down food trucks, 2 cars with out-of-date windshield stickers, and 2 boats. Everyone sees it. The police do not need this reported. It's a waste of time. Something needs to be done. Why is the nearby church allowing broken down vehicles to sit indefinitely in their parking lot? Police officers do not need my assistance. Asking for every dilapidated vehicle to be reported is a delay technique to avoid responding to rotting vehicles. Referring citizens to the nonsensical code enforcement webpage means getting nothing rectified. Contact billionaire developers and insist that the thousands of rotting homes with identical blight issues be removed. I have collected the names of 25 streets that just have large-scale construction wagons sitting there for years. 25, and that's only part of it. The police know where they are. Remove the blight from the streets, the lawns, and the driveways. You're creating a hazard for everyone that could kill. Why are you failing to respond to citizens in every single way? Nobody should be paying millions for the hospital's blighted properties that have looked destroyed. The only one who cares for them is Mr. Rooney and a group of volunteers. The hospital left it dilapidated and you're paying millions. It's a disgrace. You are a disgrace, the actions taking place here. This board is a total disgrace.
You want to come forward? Please do.
Joe Rooney, I want to go back to the $3 million purchase you all just guaranteed. So it's a naked exercise of political power. You don't represent your voters there. And I just, looking at the questions that weren't asked, none of you know any more about this probably much more than I do. And I just found out about it, say, 2 hours ago, wrote a quick question to Mr. Christman to try and find something out, and then did some stuff. But you didn't ask any questions about the plan or anything like that. Next, you didn't consult the Economic Development Corporation, and this is what they're supposedly for, so that's useless. Get rid of it, save us $500,000. You showed them no respect either by doing this, not talking with them, not having them in a presentation about it. I don't understand that at all. Finally, on that, I don't believe you're truthful about the eminent domain discussion in there. There's more to it, but I think that there's a financial aspect to that I'll have to try and figure out, but that's, I think, why that's in there. Again, it's just my impression, and nobody asked any questions about it. And how could you vote yes on something you came in here, and it wasn't until Mr. Weingrad asked, you didn't even know where the money was coming from. It's $3 million. And everybody was just a yes. It's shameful. So there's a lot of other stuff that I'd like to talk to. Second, Queen of Peace had a carnival. Dennis did an unbelievable job. Dennis Sapone, we had thousands of people went there and enjoyed themselves over 4 days. I hope some of you had an opportunity to go. If you didn't, it was a wonderful time. He needs to be saluted for the work that he did for the church and for our local community. People from all over came in. So thank you very much for doing that. It was really great and a lot of hard work. There was a lot of great volunteers from Abington and Upper Dublin that did that. The third thing, we've never heard anything about that shooting over at McKinley Firehouse. We know that James Whitmore, 18 years old, is being held on $500,000 cash. Was it a drug deal? I'm hearing a lot of rumors and stuff. And this guy's listed as a King of Prussia resident. He went to Abington School District. I don't know when he got booted out of it or whatever happened. He might have been involved with Kevon Abraham's murder in North Philly. And then there was a riot after that. I mean, there's lots of information out there. We could get some more information from you all on a meeting like this when there's not that much going on. It would be very helpful. And finally, so June's coming up. June's dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, if in case anybody's interested. If the township was interested, we just had Father's Day. We had the 81st anniversary of Victory in Europe Day, the 82nd anniversary of D-Day. We had Mother's Day. We got Father's Day coming up. And let's see, I got a few more things in here listed down. I don't understand why we're dedicating 30 days of our flagpole on the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, the greatest country ever, to a divisive political flag. Let's focus on something that joins us all together. I get it. You got naked political power. You can jam stuff down our throats. But we should have a 250th American flag up there, or we should just celebrate together. Keep your partisan political flags off of our flagpole. You don't represent people because you wouldn't get a yes if you asked it for a vote, just like you wouldn't have a yes if you asked for this $3 million expenditure with no
All right,
explanation.
Mr. Rennie, your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. That wishes to speak, and if not, we'll go to Zoom.
Laura Lehman.
Laura Lehman, Meadowbrook. Again, so incredibly disappointed. I don't know how you can dare to call yourselves representatives of the people when what you're doing is behind the backs of the people. The business of the public is supposed to be done in the view of the public and with their input. You are not supposed to vote until you tell them what you're doing and know that they approve and that you have their blessing to do that. This is not proper government, and you should be ashamed. Your families should be ashamed of you. This is not the way our government is designed to work. Where are the appraisals for these properties? You're paying effectively, if I took the figure and divide it by the 5 properties, more than $500,000 per property. Some of them are so blighted, they are not worth that. So where are the appraisals? Why do we not get to see the appraisals and see what your plan is and what your plan is going to cost? So it doesn't have to do, Commissioner Young-Gertz, with whether or not this could be a very good place and a good thing to do out on York Road. It's not that it couldn't be a good thing, but we don't even know what it is that you're doing. You're doing it in secret back rooms where half the commissioners, as Mr. Rooney just pointed out, don't even know what's going on. You didn't know where the money was coming from. That's your job to ask those questions and to know that stuff. These properties were blighted. Mr. Platts, who just spoke, was the man who was supposed to be citing those properties and making sure they came into compliance. On Horace Road, there were properties where residents had to come and complain to you. For 8 years, they had been trying to get them cleaned up. And those very properties will probably also be part of this adventure that you're embarking on. The ARPA funds that you are taking this from, we've already had funny business where you tried to switch around with salaries that had already been paid and make ARPA funds pay for those already paid salaries so that you could just bank the money, which of course was not according to the rules. And so some people from higher up had to be called in. So this is just not the way business is supposed to be done, in back rooms and behind the backs of the residents. Mr. Hecker, are you going to deliver the...
Ms. Lehman, thank you for your comments. Your time has expired.
Mr. Hecker, are you...
Lisa Kelly, you're unmuted.
Hi, Lisa Kelly, Tolpahawken Avenue in Elkins Park. I just wanted to remind everyone that the pride flag is not a politically divisive issue. It's about human beings. I especially want to remind Joe Rooney about that. And happy Pride. Thanks.
Is there anyone else? Okay, and with that, we are adjourned.